Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jen Madrone, and today we're talking about loneliness on the path of awakening, in the path of transformation. Most people experience a deep sense of loneliness once they fully move into this process of awakening. Once we fully step on and commit to the path and get through maybe the initial exciting part, whether it's exciting in a positive or a negative way, we often experience a deep sense of loneliness. And this can be a very real physical reality in our life because sometimes during this process of awakening, we lose people that we love. We often lose our partners, our marriages, and we may lose good friends. Family members may start to disconnect from us, or we find that we need to disconnect from them. And so loneliness can show up in a very real way because we lose people that are very close to us because we're going through such major shifts and changes, and either they don't understand what we're going through, or we see that these relationships are toxic and we have to disconnect from them. So in that sense, loneliness can be very real and a part of the reality that we're experiencing at the time. However, what I'm talking about today is a deeper sense of loneliness that shows up not just when we lose loved ones or find ourselves truly alone, but it can also show up when we have a huge family around us, when we still have our partners, we still have our friends, but yet there's this loneliness, this deep loneliness that's coming up from inside. And this occurs because as we awaken, we are reconnecting with ourselves. Because most of us have, up until that point of awakening, lived our lives completely separated from ourselves, running from ourselves, avoiding really looking at who we are and how we're feeling and what experiences we're carrying or traumas we're carrying with us. And we run away and avoid this, through so many different things, through busyness, through throwing ourselves into our jobs or our family lives or addictions in all forms. And really that's the norm. We're not encouraged in this culture in our society to really, look at who we are, to spend quiet time with ourselves and see what it is that we're feeling, ask ourselves what we need, ask ourselves how we need to be healed. That's not something that we're trained to do. We're really trained in this culture to avoid all of that on all costs. But as we awaken, we can't avoid it anymore. As we awaken, we start to reconnect with who we are on a really deep level because we see that our attachments and our connections to the world around us and who we believed we were in relationship to our relationships or in relationship to what we have or who we think we are, our identity, we start to see that those are illusions, that there's no truth in that. And so then we realize that the only thing that we really have is ourselves. The only thing that is really true is us. And as we begin to reconnect, we often find that we really have no fucking clue who we are. So there we are, realizing that all we have is us, but we have no idea who us is, who we are. And that can feel really, really lonely. And that can make us feel really sad. And, if you're feeling this way, this is a beautiful place to be. And this is definitely an indication that you're on the right path because you're starting the journey back to yourselves. You're starting that journey of self discovery, of learning who you really are on a deep level. And it starts by recognizing that we don't really know who we are, that we haven't gone there yet. And so then we can start to discover who it is that we are, what it is that needs to be healed so that we can reconnect with ourselves on a really deep level, and really find that power of our aloneness, because the spiritual path in one sense is a lonely path because it's a very individual path. It's different for each one of us. We have to do our own work. We have to go deep into ourselves, to find who we really are, to connect with our authentic nature, and to connect with ourselves as divine beings. Because when we separated from ourselves, from our true nature, we also separated from the divine, which is our true nature. And so that journey of reconnection with ourselves is our reconnection with the divine. And life is full of so many paradoxes. And one of the paradoxes of the spiritual process is that we have to know the power of aloneness and know that loneliness in order to know the power of unity. So we have to know ourselves as individuals, know ourselves in our aloneness before we can really understand what unity consciousness is, before we can really understand that we are divine creatures, which means that we are all completely connected. And so it's quite a paradox that we have to move into that aloneness, into that individuation, into our personal power and strength. And then we can know the strength of who we are as divine creatures that are deeply connected to all of life. So if you're in this place of feeling deeply alone, then I congratulate you. And I'm really excited for you, because that means that you're moving more deeply towards yourself. And if you're really ready to find that place of personal power and get to know yourself on a really deep, deep, authentic level, then please private message me and we can talk about the work I do and see if it would be a good fit for you. And if you have any questions, just leave them here in the comments, and I'll get to them. I just want to say hi to Amanda and Heather and Alana. Hi, you guys. So glad you're here. Thanks for listening. And I will see you all in the Facebook group. Have a great night. Bye.